hot damn, man. It's so cold outside, but it's about 3 million degrees in the sun. It's so hot. If you walk anywhere else in the house, it's cold. It's really friggin' weird. Anyway, I'm about to go and head out to pick up Laura, who is at uni, ATM. But I've been having like a relatively unproductive day. It's been bugging me. I swing so aggressively from like positive and productive to negative and not productive. I feel like I need someone else to talk to. I've been pottering, been doing some jobs this morning. Got up, I had a bit of a lie-in, I had a bit of a like steady start to the morning. But I've just been chipping away through stuff, doing a lot of like research into people that I know. So I want to figure out like, I need to figure out a logical pivot, and that's going to involve talking to people. And I just need to highlight who those people are and how best to go about it. And there's something weird about like contacting friends to talk about stuff like this, like work stuff effectively. But that's what I need to do, you know? So yeah, I've done a little bit of the next bit of work, which is deploying my function live and then all that stuff. But like I said, I'm gonna go pick up Laura. We've got a meal out tonight with Beth and Ben. We've got a good old snackaroo going on. We're gonna have pizza to place in Brizzle. So that should be good fun. Talk to someone else for a little bit. Haven't seen them since pre-Christmas, I want to say. That's a lie. They helped us with our car at one point, but I don't know when that was. That was pre-Feb, so who knows. Some point in January we told them, but only briefly. And like I say, we're going out for a good old meal. And it'd be good to like get out a little bit, I think. Something my computer does, which I'm not sure if it's my computer thing or a Windows thing. Every time if I shut it, you know when you shut down and then it comes up with like, do you want to save or don't save? My computer turns the monitors off before those pop-ups come up. So I can't, I don't know they've come up, you know? I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it is fucking windy, boys. There is one heck of a storm whipping through Bristol today. Just driven Laura to work. To uni, and like the wind is just buffering the car. You know when you're like sat at some traffic lights? It wasn't doing it like when I'm driving, it wasn't like taking the car. You know, sometimes I've been on the motorway before where it's been really windy and it's like taking the car in another lane or something, or attempting to. But like when you're sat at traffic lights, like the car's like rocking on its suspension. God damn. We had a cracking meal yesterday with Beth and Ben, I'd say, or Beth, as they've now named themselves on their birthday card to me. Beth just tickles me. I really like that as a name. That's really cool. Yeah, we had a really good meal. Had a pizza place. To be honest with you, it wasn't like as nice as I expected it to be. There's one of these places in Bath, and we've had it there before, and it's fucking gorge. It's just a bit average. But I don't know if it was average or it took ages. We were there from like. We got there at 7:30. We didn't leave until nearly 10 o'clock, which is really bloody long. It took them a long time to like take our order and whatnot. But I mean, it was good. It was. There's like times where we see Beth and Ben, and like, you know, when you don't really have much to tell, you know, not many like stories to share. But we just seem to have like a lot of stories this time. So we went there. We had a little drink after as well. Went to a bar. Live the dream, boys. My plan today. Also. They're happy for me to like interview them about how they do their work, which will be fun. So I'll do that at some point in the future. But yeah, otherwise today I am working around. I've got to do the washing, but I think that's it, to be fair. Maybe some hoovering, but I think I'll do that in a week once the washing's down. I'm going to do my deployment stuff. I'm going to focus on programming for quite a bit, I think. Predominantly because there's quite a lot of like cloud stuff that I need to do, and then like microservice based stuff, which I can do like on my laptop. We're going on holiday for a week, next week. And I'm going to be focusing on like programming, marketing like a consultancy service. That's what I'm like aiming at now. I'm aiming I'm doing RadSpider to the sense that it keeps me sane. And I mean like, I don't fully know, maybe someone would buy it. I don't fully know it's dead, I just strongly presume it might be. But I'm aiming like full hog at going into consultancy in some shape or form. That's like my main focus. I'm going to see if there's any changes I can make to my website, to like LinkedIn or whatever, to like kind of promote that a little bit more. We'll see. Like I say, I feel like there's a niche I'm aiming for. and half of the problem is figuring out how to get people to know I exist. That's the problem I'm trying to solve. To a certain extent with consultancy, it is like, it's almost a snowbally thing. It's like obviously who you know. And I don't really know anyone who could like take me on as a first client, if you know what I mean? Like as a favor, I guess. I thought you were lower than that. So it's like getting my foot in the first door is a bit of a pain. But like the advantage of consultancy is like, to a certain extent, I only need my foot in one door and then that lengthens my runway by a semi-significant amount. But I've never done it before, so I don't know like what other people are used to and all that kind of stuff. So I've got to like talk to people, you know? Talking. But yeah, Beth and Ben are really like, are really motivating, I think is the word. I'll come downstairs to get a cup of tea in a bit. Are really like motivating in the sense that they're like life's short. I mean, if you want to do something, do something. And I want to do it. I want to try it out, you know. And I can't honestly say I've tried it out until I've tried it out, you know. But yeah, it's the only awkward thing is spending time building it feels unproductive to me because it's the kind of work that they do, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I do that all day at work. The things I'm like, it just feels unproductive because I'm used to programming where you write some code and then you get something at the end of it. You don't spend the day thinking or emailing or whatever, you know, researching. A day of research feels like a wasted day because I don't have anything out at the end of it, you know. So cold, like there's so much, like the wind has blown over our next door's fence. Thankfully not on our side. We've got like a chain, not a chain fence, but like a wire fence, you know. It's like a wooden panel one, which is never a good idea. But yeah, it is bloody cold now. I'm gonna make a hot water bowl. I'm just trying to figure out where my credentials are coming from. Come from app config file. I'm just doing the like deployment to live. I've created all of the credentials I need to run it, but like I don't know where. I can't figure out where the settings are coming from. Whether or not it's coming from a key vault or. By the looks of it, I only set 3 of them. But it's not like I was saying that, how many existed before? That's probably a good idea to check, isn't it? It's always good fun when you don't know where half of your settings are coming from. That's always when you know you're in a good way, you know. Functions. I'm just trying to figure out. It can't be using the local app settings because they're only used locally. I'm definitely overriding. So, oh no, like I'm sending. So where am I getting that from? I don't know where that comes from. Shit. Either way, I'm changing the way it all works, so I might create a key vault and attach it in a key vault when I'm not on running it locally, obviously. So make myself a hot water bowl, tide myself over a little bit, and then once I've got this sorted, have some dinner. This is like perfect log burner weather. Obviously, apart from like actual snow, it's perfect log burner weather. It's quite warm. That's the bizarre thing. It just feels cold. You know, like in the week, obviously it's sunny, so there's like a greenhouse effect. But like if it's like 8 or 9 degrees, it feels warmer than when it's raining and 12 degrees. Is that a bad sign for, probably a bad sign for damp and stuff, isn't it? God damn it, man. Pretty productive day today, and we had a good evening as well when I picked up Laura back up from uni, and we just like had a chilled out evening. We cooked a nice roast, potted around, talked strategy. I feel like I'm in a good, I know I say that all the time. I feel like I'm in a good, like, I said the things I wanted to say, you know, out loud, and then it becomes real to someone else, you know? I was like, I think I've said it all to you, but to a certain extent, you don't really count anymore. It's bedtime. It's a bit early for bed, but like, I've been waking up every morning, absolutely knackered. So I'm gonna go to bed and then read for a little bit. I've got a new book I want to read. because I need to finish the book I'm on, which I'm in like a bit of the dumb bit now, but we'll see, we'll get there. The spot on my cheek is making me rage. I just came downstairs because I was like, I need to gel my hair. And then I realised as I left the room, I'm like, why am I sat in the dark? Today is a bit of an odd day. I'm finishing off a little bit of deployment stuff from yesterday. I have my key vaults all configured. I just need to make sure the function is paying attention to them. Where's my bloody phone? I need to scan a QR code. But like after this, I've got stuff to do, you know. What was I talking about? What the fuck was I even talking about there? Oh yeah, that's code based. Everything else I'm doing is quite people based. So I'm making sure I've got like a couple of threads that I'm following that I need to like kind of connect. And then I need to make sure that I'm on like the right track with everything else that I'm up to as well. I've got like, I feel like I'm spinning a few plates and I'm gonna forget about one of them soon. Right then, I think it is time to go and brave the storm. It's supposed to be 100% chance of heavy rain today. It's like literally bone dry out there. But I am going to brave the storm. I need to go to the shops because I want to get something else I wanted to get as well. I need to go to Next to buy some shoes, and I need to go to Top Man because I broke my Top Man gift card. And I wanted to buy some jeans online because they won't fit me if I ordered them in person. So I'm going to bomb up there, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get a card for Valentine's Day as well. Living the dream. I knew it had been windy, but I didn't realise it was windy enough to literally turn a house upside down, boys. That's crazy. Well, I dodged that rain pretty well. It wasn't a crazy productive shopping trip. I got my... I'll tell you, yesterday I had like a gift card I tried to use, but I like scratched off the secret code really badly and ruined it, so you couldn't tell what the code was. Blimey, God, that's pretty bad. So I got that replaced. I then went to go order some shoes, well, buy some shoes, but they didn't have my size. Sad times all round, really, boys. But I did get a card for Valentine's. So it's now time for some dinner and some thinking. That's where all I do these days is spend my time thinking, but I've got lots to think about. I woke up last night at 4:30 in the morning, and apparently I'm still sat in the dark, with an idea for like an app or a like program, like a project management tool, and I've like written a load of stuff down about it, and it's really exciting, and I feel like it solves a problem, but the problem it solves doesn't lend itself very well to either being prototyped or targeting a niche small enough and then spreading out, which is the way you do this kind of stuff. And it's one of those things that like effectively, what am I trying to say? It's not very startup friendly, and it's nearly always better to have a, it's one of those scenarios where like, it's better to have a mediocre idea in a really easy to disrupt market than it does having a great idea in a market that's really competitive. And project management software is extremely competitive, and it's got some entrenched, powerful players, and the tools are really sticky. But it's designed to, well, the idea I've got is like designed, at least in the abstract, to like cover the whole process. So like a lot of the issues come, and I've realized this when I've been like thinking about my consultancy stuff, a lot of the problems come when you cross boundaries between like the development team and the whatever team. I was like, wouldn't it be good to have like a management tool that's able to kind of build the project up as like a tiered graph, and then only show the relevant information to the relevant people, like to make it quick and easy to use, but build up like a graph of data so that like the board can see something at this level. They don't need to see the individual tasks that the developers are doing. And whether or not that could be applicable to a non-development area. Basically the idea still needs a bit of thought. But I properly struggled to get to sleep after that, you know. I can't remember if I blogged this, but I tweeted the other day about how, you know how I bought a torch? I bought a torch because we were going to need it for our holiday in Cornwall. But I bought a torch, and I laughed when I saw it about this like thing on Twitter, on Amazon, So like one of the pictures was a really cool son of a bitch that looks like a policeman holding a gun with a torch. And I made a joke about like how I skipped past all of the torches for babies straight to the one with a guy holding a gun like a boss, because I'm a man, you know. Poking some banter at all of the guys who want tactical torches. Why do you want a tactical torch? It's a fucking torch. So I tweeted again the day after, obviously I Amazon primed it. 5 out of 5, would buy again. It makes me feel like a real man. So tactical, very masculine. Wow. With this photo, and I thought that was a banger of a tweet. And basically like no one replied, so pretty sad. But yeah, I was like, fuck me, that is a sick tweet, man. I thought that was like the classic, a classic, you know, an absolute banger. And it just didn't go nowhere. I need to go to the post office today. And I feel like I'm going to go to the post office now before my cup of tea so I can come back and warm up because it's fucking freezing outside. But the thing is, like, post offices are so difficult to predict when they're going to be busy. Obviously, they'll be busy at lunchtime, obviously. But like any other scenario, I can never tell when or not they're going to be busy. I always go there and there's a huge queue. Surely they can't always be busy. I'm just checking if Google still does that thing where it like predicts how busy a place is. Does not like it. I feel like it used to do that when we were going to the gym, but yeah, I just didn't scroll down far enough. Okay, so it doesn't look usually not too busy right now. I mean, it's usually a little busy later. Right, let's go now then. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm flip-flopping around like an absolute mother trucker. I have come to the conclusion, I'm going to gel my hair as well, because I look like trash. I've come to the conclusion, like, I know what I'm going to do now. Like, as much as I enjoy kind of like the consulting aspects of everything I've been doing in Varialis, and I do really enjoy it, to a certain extent, I was only doing that to do something else, you know? And like, to a certain extent as well, it was something I enjoyed doing predominantly because it was around other people, you know, because it's not, obviously, I'm not just on my own. So it was two things. It was a function of two things. A means to an end to build RadSpider, and a way to communicate and talk to other people. With that in mind, I do not want to, I feel like my heart isn't in it, to be honest. As much as I enjoy doing it, my heart isn't in all of the legwork that has to be done to build that up. So what I'm going to do effectively is I'm going to stop trying. I'm going to go back to looking for a real job and wait again for something else for my heart to be in, you know? And then I'll do it. Like, I don't think I can't see myself spending the rest of my life without trying my own business and like making it semi-successful, you know? Like working for my own business and making money that way. But I need to have something that my heart's in, and I just can't bring myself to put my heart into it, you know? So I'm spending some time looking for a job. I'm not desperate for a job to a certain extent. This is kind of like a holiday now for me. So I'm going to spend some time looking for what I think is like the perfect job until I really have to go somewhere, then I'll just go somewhere. I don't want to go somewhere and then want to leave it again soon. I want to go somewhere for like like a comfortable period of time, like at least 2 years. Which I know doesn't sound like a lot to older people. I want to go somewhere I'll actually enjoy and grow and have an opportunity to learn new things again. And yeah, and otherwise sit and toy with other things. I'm still going to carry on building RadSpider, but for myself. And I'm otherwise like trying to find other things that excite me to get back into development again, you know? Whether that's just like trying new tech, or whether it's building something new. Like I say, I have that idea about a project management tool, which I think is more of a data management problem rather than a UX problem, rather than an application problem. So I'll look into things like that, but otherwise, that's just kind of where my mindset is. I've got a couple of networking things I'm still going to go to coming up. But beyond that, that's where I'm at. It's something like, it's really hard to admit. But like, yeah, my heart isn't in it anymore, and like pretending it is. Like, my heart's in it, but I could just go somewhere else and do it, you know, rather than try and go through the legwork that I hate of building up. I think like consultancy is something that you kind of have to do off the back of already knowing people, you know, like it's such a relationship-based industry that it's like monumentally difficult. It's not impossible, but it's monumentally difficult to get into, and it's mentally draining, and I just can't face it. So I'm gonna back out. I'm backing out. I'm gonna go back to developing something that I like and want to build part-time in my own time, just for funsies, you know, as a hobby again. Get a real job. Sort out all the things in my life I want to sort out. Money-wise. And yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Still gonna go to and enjoy like all of the things that, like Varialis isn't dead. I'm still gonna try and do things underneath Varialis's umbrella. But yeah, that's that, I guess. Having said that, it might be better just to close down Varialis and then just do it again later if I wanted to, under a different name. I'm just thinking that like I don't know, the logistics of like coming back to it 5 years time, when the name probably wouldn't mean as much. Coming back to it in 5 years time, what's the point, you know? So I might have to look into the logistics of closing it down. And then, like I say, in a couple of years, I've learned a lot over the last 6 months, and then over the next, when I do it again, just based off of what I've learned not to do, I'll be on a much better footing, you know? So, but yeah, I think I might close down Varialis. Again, like, we've got no rush for any of that. I just need to look into the logistics of how that looks, I guess. And when I say that, I don't have to tear it down entirely. I'll figure something out. May as well leave it running to a certain extent. It's very echoey there, isn't it? Had a relatively productive afternoon, although not particularly thingy. Had a telephone interview. And now I've got a technical test to do because I passed the telephone interview. But then otherwise, just like, I went to lunch with Gary. He's my aforementioned tester friend. So got Greek food with him. It was lovely. And then we were talking about testing and like some of the ideas, the very loose, like general ideas I've got around that world. Standard, as we do, have a good old 2-hour lunch. It's great. We live the dream. And then I went to my office and I just basically took phone calls for a bit. I had my telephone interview and I accidentally applied to one thing on one site where now about 3 recruiters from that site have now called me, which is annoying as fuck. But I try to avoid as much of that stuff as I can. But there's very little you can do to a certain extent. But yeah, as long as like, remember when I left the place I was at just after uni and I accidentally pressed the wrong button on a job site, and then on the 30-minute drive to work, I had 29 missed calls. I am being really selective over the roles that I take though and look at. I'm being really picky. So I've already like declined 2 before needing any other information. So yeah, it's going well. Otherwise, I've finished the deployments of my function thing that I was doing for RadSpider. And yeah, then I started looking at that tech test, which I'll do tomorrow. Frustratingly, in a really old version of Framework, because I think they've had this tech test for years. But God, it's annoying. It's been a long time since I've written code for old, full-fat Framework, you know. It's amazing how much easier .NET, well, how much simpler and cleaner .NET Core is. May as well roll on with this video, boys. I'm having a day in the house today. I'm having a programming day as well, although it's not, well, it will be RadSpider related, but so far I'm doing a developer test, like a technical test for a what's my jig. Oh, you're gonna stop recording? No, apparently not. It's annoying because like technical tests are so difficult to do. It's a good one because it is like effectively write some code, but it's like teed you off. And the problem is figuring out their intent. It's like, here's something you've done that's obviously bad. Is the intent that I go and add in like dependency injection here, or did you deliberately want some kind of factory pattern? I don't think you wanted the factory pattern based on the fact that you're using a version of the .NET framework which doesn't support live configuration changes. So your factory pattern would never change unless you rebooted the app and changed config. So I've gone with dependency injection and just like, I'm kind of like building a little readme of like assumptions and stuff alongside. But I spent the first chunk of time wrapping their existing implementation, which had a bug in it, which I've also said, I assume you wanted me to fix the bug. So I wrapped their existing implementation with tests, which was a bit fiddlier than I thought it would be, because again, I needed control of their, because of the way the like database is implemented and not injected. I needed to like do a little bit of work beforehand so I could inject in and get control of all of the stuff. So I've like done all that, I set up a bit of the dependency injection, and then wrote my high-level automation tests so that I know how the current one works. Now, as I build the next one and switch it and start to use a different method, I am going to be able to like prove that my platform works the exact same way as your platform does. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But yeah, so like I say, the problem with tech tests is it's all about like intent. Because you're deliberately I've written tech tests before, because you've effectively got to deliberately inject bugs and like bad things. There's obviously a million ways to skin a cat, but then when you see someone who's done something so obviously wrong, you're like, ah. So the reason I think they don't want a factory is because of that live configuration thing. I mean, maybe you could have some kind of, maybe there's some third party that allows you to have live configuration changes. I don't know. But also because the next bit so obviously maps to a strategy pattern, which is just like an advanced factory pattern. So I'm like, you're not going to want both. But it's like trying to guess your intent behind the stuff. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the #1 reason why test-driven development is so good. Because it tests, if you've written tests, what you've done is you've documented the intent of the program. You've said in a test that I want it to do this in this scenario. Whereas I've got to kind of reverse engineer why you did that. I'm like, so did you want that because you wanted to dynamically change it at runtime? Or did you do it because you haven't done any dependency injection, you know? So I've just moved the logic into dependency injection and run from there because there's no intent. There is no obvious intent around the application. So, but it's good fun. I'm living the dream. I'm having fun programming again, you know, boys. That's what I'm doing, is I'm getting back into programming again. Living the dream. Stepping away from some of this businessy stuff. Like I say, I've still got like ideas rippling around. Because I want to find, like, I think I do want to run my own business at some point. I've really enjoyed it. But I'm going to like go back to the drawing board, figure out what I did wrong this time, get back on my feet effectively, get a nice stable footing, and then find someone else who is more willing to do the businessy stuff. Not that I don't like the businessy stuff, but someone who's better at it. And then the two of us together will go, because then I can do the building tech stuff, and then they can do all the businessy related stuff as well. So yeah, that's where I'm at, boys. But we're on holiday tomorrow, so we've got some packing and stuff to do. And some prep work. I've got to like waterproof out shoes and some other stuff. So yeah, so I'm kind of doing this morning, but then this afternoon I'm expecting to kind of do different things. So probably not too much work. Probably more making sure my laptop's got everything it needs. Oh, I've got really itchy ear, boys. Cool beans, ladies and gentlemen. All my jobs have been done. We've like mostly packed. I say mostly packed all the stuff. We're not going until like the afternoon tomorrow. So we've still got a shitload of time tomorrow and whatnot. But yeah, otherwise today's been good. I have another trip to London booked in for an interview. when I come back from holiday. Looking forward to that. Good times. They were doing, the company that's doing it, it's in Bristol. They're setting up an office in Bristol. They're setting up a development team in Bristol. So they're moving some development people to Bristol, is what I'm saying. But they're based in London. They're like head offices in London and whatnot. They're doing interviews the week we're on holiday, Thursday and Friday, so next week, which I can't go because I'm in Cornwall. So instead I get to go to London on Monday for an interview. And I'm like, that's better, you know? I said this earlier, haven't I? I remember saying it now. Yeah, so yeah, definitely going to London. But yeah, it's better because I get to see whether or not people up there like it or whatever. That is going to be a much better representation of what this will be than the other way around, you know? Right, anything else to say? Yeah, we just got like went in the loft, sorted out stuff, like suitcases and whatnot. Yeah, good. I'll go. I'll catch you later. It turns out as well, I'm guessing that my technical test went well, so that's good. Happy days. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on holiday tomorrow. Not tomorrow, by the time you see this. Fuck me. I'll catch you later.